Hello YouTube, this is karacakes bringing you another PGA Tour 2K23 video. This week we have another CC guide for you guys, as we are going to Old Castle Prairie. Old Castle Prairie is a course in the Rookie Design Contest. If you go on the forums and you're somebody who's new at designing, maybe you've gotten a couple courses under your belt and you're starting to get a good feel for it, maybe you should enter, because this is always a really cool competition run by Q, who is the scheduler. So you know this is a good course if the scheduler, who also runs the contest, is saying this is already CC quality. It is by JickinWings. JickinWings, I love that name with a J. And we're going to do round 1 conditions because I thought it was kind of interesting. So we're going to first look at the regular course details, and you see that it's normal, firm, and medium fast. And that's important because we have all default conditions except for the wind. So we're starting at the back tees. Every round should be the back tees. Pin 1, medium winds from the southwest, and everything else is default. Everything else being default means normal, firm, medium, fast. So slightly slower than fast greens. It shouldn't be too bad. But let's get into it. I've been very busy the last couple days, so I'm happy I can at least spend some time on this. I've been doing match plays galore. Come over on twitch.tv/karacakes Sunday. I should be streaming at least my plat rounds. There is also a 4 money tournament going on. 4 money tournament that we are all playing in. Well, not all of us, but some of us are playing in. So come on out. Support everybody. It's been a lot of fun. It's the Progressive Golf Open. The Bee's Knees Invitational is also going on, which is a every couple months tournament run by Killer Bees. It is a ton of fun for the community, so we always take part in that. I'm also doing Trinity Tour match play, and I had to do that on Thursday as well, so it's been a busy time. Alright, so let's look. We have a slight right to left lie at our feet. Big wide open fairway. Please don't miss this fairway. This is such a good opportunity for an eagle. Wind in our face should knock this ball down enough. It might even knock it down too much. Luckily, we don't have like a 96% lie, or else I would start to think about taking out the 3-wood. But I think this might just barely get there. I'm going to even put some spin on it so that it gets a little extra distance and see if that helps us out. I've been changing my calibration lately, so tempo isn't going to be perfect, but we're going to do our best. And this is a great shot. So, 8 mile per hour, not too bad in the face. It at least gets us on the green. And that's the thing you need to, when you're calculating, is something like on those longer clubs, you have to pick your poison. Do you want to risk the higher club knowing it'll get there, but you had to shot shape it a lot or partial it? Or do you just know you'll be on the green and in front of the hole? That's what I chose here. I knew it wasn't going to get to the hole, but I knew it would get close enough. Unfortunate to miss that putt. I did shank it a little bit to the right, but I will take our birdie. And this is where it gets spicy. This is one of the harder holes on the course because of the water here. There's a couple of front pin locations, and I believe there's one back here, one here, I think one here, and one here. So these 3 front ones are pretty tough because you have water here. And if any of the wind, luckily the wind is not going towards the water, but there might be a round where it's going towards the water. There might be 2 rounds because I'm looking at the conditions, and there's a southeast and a northeast wind. So there's a chance that you have a tough pin location and you have the ball coming this way, which can be bad. So here, make sure you're long enough. Do not play this too short, and sort of play for this area on this pin location because it funnels to the right. This will be a nice safe place. If you're brave, you could take a more direct approach, and you might be rewarded with a hole-in-one if you can land it like right here, because it'll kick to the right, roll to the left a little bit, and then straighten up towards the hole. So risk management. You have to know your strengths and weaknesses. That's a really important part of shot calculus. Especially with my tempo being so bad. I'm kind of just playing a little safer. Got the perfect though. Big perfect. I also played this a little longer than I normally would. Because again, I'm trying to play safe out here. Pin high is perfectly acceptable from that location. I just wasn't brave enough to like go for a direct line, try to hole-in-one it. I'm just happy getting in the middle because if I slow it, at least it'll still be safe. Alright, this is where it gets tricky and where you have to think about your course management techniques. You can hit a driver. You could probably get it over the bunker, hit the rough on the downslope, and get it to run past and get it really close to the hole, like 40, 30 yards away. But you have to be willing to take that risk here, knowing that if you hit a slow, you're going to be in some tough rough over here, maybe the bunker. And if you hit a fast, there's water out there. And even bouncing over here, if you hit like somewhere like here, it's going into the water because it kicks to the left. There's only a couple places where it might not kick into the water, like here maybe it doesn't kick into the water. So in my situation, I would look at this, I would say there's not wind at my back, I won't reach the green. I'm probably still going to be 40 to 50 yards out even if I get it up here. Because we're looking at like 350. Maybe we're in chip range, but again, it has to bounce correctly. And this could bounce left or right if you bounce it on that slope past the bunker. You can see it. So I'm not going to take the risk. I'm going to take out my 3-iron and I'm just going to play for the fairway. Oh God. And then almost go in the water anyways, but luckily we laid up enough. So my tempo, like I said, I have been playing around with it a lot. It's a work in progress. So when you're here, this is tough. You have to make a decision. If you have like a high lie percentage like I do, I have more options, but it's still risky. I'm trying to land it like in this area so that it hits here, slows down, and rolls up. Very difficult shot. More than likely not going to end up good, but we don't have many options here. So we just had to hope we don't get super low rolled or super high rolled on the lie percentage. Yeah, a little fast. So the perfect looks like it was right on line. So it's a little unfortunate we end up here, but again, this is fine. We can survive this. Just barely. Good read. Wait for the bead to start moving. Alright, here we go. Long par 3, but this one is like one of the most friendly long par 3s you can get. Everything funnels towards the holes on every single pin location, except I think maybe the front pin location here, which I believe is like a pin 4 or something. There's like a pin back here, so like you can funnel it with these slopes. Even if you hit it out here, it'll funnel to the left again. This has a funnel right here. This has funnels here. So this is a very friendly hole. We're gonna take our 3-iron. We're gonna lightly loft it. Slow it quite a bit, but again, this is what I was saying. This is such a friendly hole because if you hit those edges of the green, you are going to be still good. And honestly, playing for the edges is probably pretty safe. A long par 4 with slight wind in our face. Let's see where we can get it. Alright. Big lie at our feet. We'll have to take that into consideration. Wind in our face. Not too great, but it is uphill. And there is a slope in front. So you're more likely than not wanting to land it further rather than short. Because if you land it short, it's going to roll back down. So you need to get it to this part of the slope at least. With wind in our face, it should die as well. 6 in the face. Not too heavily in the face. Probably losing like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards maybe. 188. Let's see if we dialed this up. He's fast coming from. Right. Well, that's very scary. You're about to see what happens when you end up here. So everything rolls downhill. I don't think we can stop this at all. I'm going to try to land it long. I'm trying to avoid this red part of the slope. This is really important to avoid. So we have a really crappy lie, but we're on a downhill slope at our feet too. I think there's never, ever, ever a chance we can never get this to stop, but we're going to do our best. It's really important that you get it. You don't hit the red part of a slope. Otherwise, this is probably off the green. At least from here, you can save it. At least there's a solid chance of saving it from here. Whereas if you hit that red slope, goodbye, ball. Say goodbye. And this course will get you. It's easy, but it's not too easy. Alright, here's your first make or break decision, what you need to do. Water. Drivable green. Cambers, left to right. The ideal play is obviously to shape it into the slope, make it kick back to the right, and you land it near the hole. The issue is you have a significant downhill shot here. So you need to take that into consideration. I'm going to shot shape to reduce the distance this travels, as well as accomplishing my goal of coming in from the right to the left, hitting the slope, making it die a little bit more. But this is a very tough shot. We're going to take our practice swing because we haven't hit a tempo very often. The fast is too fast, but it still is going... Ooh, no, this might be too high. Nope, just got it. So this is a good leave. I consider this a very good leave here. If you hit anywhere close to the green, it's going to run out. And it's going to keep running out. As you can see, it wants to... It's not too uphill. It's pretty flat. So with a driver, it's going to roll for a while. And probably end up on the right side over here. Everything funnels off to the right. So this is a pretty good leave spot. Obviously, if we don't hit that rough, maybe we end up even closer and trickle onto the green. The goal on this hole is to trickle onto the green. But it is much harder said than done. As you just saw. Bang. Bang. All right. Shorter par 4. Not the shortest one you've ever seen, but a shorter par 4. You're going to be going back up the hill after on your second shot. And this is a tricky hole because if you have wind at your back, you're going to try to go for that sliver of fairway. Be careful about doing that. If you look at your map, if you get like a decent amount of wind at your back, you're going to be pretty close to the hole. That'll be cool. But there's a lot of rough. You can very easily end up in those bushes, and good luck going up the hill on some of the pins. If there's a front pin, you need to be very careful about aiming all the way out there, because if you end up down there, it's going to be tough to get a birdie. You're likely going to be saving par. That felt horrible. I kind of accidentally did like the opposite type of swing that I normally do, and it just was terrible. Oh, so close. That's a little unlucky. Because if it just hits the green, it's going to bounce and roll out a lot more. But I hit the super upslope. You can see the divot. Right there. It's a black spot right here. Can't see it from this angle, unfortunately. But you can see I hit the upslope. Very unfortunate. Killed the ball. A lot of slope at the hole. We're going to make sure we try to get it all the way up. Give ourselves a good chance at the hole out. Not quite. Do be careful, this rolls off past the hole, as you just saw. But we take a par. My least favorite distance. Type in location. You're just gonna have to hit your tempo. Get it up. Get it down. Not too difficult a hole, you're just gonna have to hit a good club, a good number for you. Fairway slopes left to right unless you hit the rough, then there's a chance it stays straight, so do be careful. Bunker on the right, you really want to avoid it because this pin is in the back right. You won't be able to attack the pin at all if you're in the rough or the bunker. But obviously this is not an easy hole. And as you can see, like I said, if you hit the rough, good chance you don't. But at least the left side rough isn't too terrible. I think I still need to adjust my my tempo a little bit. It's been very hard for me to find a good good calibration recently on wireless. I've been testing it out a lot. I think the hardest part about wireless tempo is finding a good calibration. Alright. Fairly short. Don't end up too close to the hole in an awkward number, because if I hit my driver here, it's probably going to be like 319, 320 because of the slight elevation. I'm just going to hit 3-wood and let myself be in a good spot. That felt alright. 286 gives us a good club in. Don't be too short. Big yellow slope in front. Rather be long than short here. Downhill lie at your feet as well. Still way too fast. Need to fix that before my match today. I may already be eliminated by the time you watch this video from the Progressive Golf Open. There's a $200 first prize up for grabs. I would at least like to get fourth, which is $50. It's being hosted on Gamer Saloon, and it's run by Progressive Golf, who is a wonderful streamer in this community, in this directory. So you guys should come over to Twitch and watch him. He's a professional golf. He's PGA pro. He does lessons and stuff. So he analyzes swing videos of viewers as well, real life. And he's a hell of a golfer as well in the virtual golf world. Really cool guy, really nice, and is putting a lot of time and energy into advancing our community. I think I underhit that slightly. Oh, no, it looks like I hit the power pretty good there. Might have been 1% low, but I would have missed high anyways. It was a good shot. This is a tricky hole, and this is... Okay, so with this wind configuration, you can get it far down the fairway and be in a safe place. But if there's ever wind in your face, there's a chance that this ball just rolls into the rough every single time. Look at how severe this slope is. It runs left to right hard. So you're going to want to, if you have a shorter club, wind in the face or something, you're probably going to want to put some shape on this. You can aim long here, but then you might end up pretty close to the hole again. So be careful about going too close into a number you are not comfortable with. So I'm going to show like a layup option here. Yeah, I think I need to still recalibrate a little bit. I think I'm just on the fast side. Alright, so I think 8-iron is fine here. It's tough, but you can hit the slope right here, and it'll kill the ball. just gonna be tough. Downhill line, might add a yard. It's probably playing around like pin high if we played it straight up. So we're gonna loft it. We don't want to loft it too much, but there is wind at our back, so you need to loft a little bit more than you think if you're gonna loft. Otherwise, you're gonna need to partial. Yeah, we're just fast right now. That's fine. Just slow down enough. I think this is going to be very close. Luckily, the firmness got us just up there. With wind at your back and a downhill lie, the ball is going to bounce pretty hard, especially on firm greens like we are on right now. So you have to balance, you know, risk reward there. I went for the risk and I was graciously rewarded. All right, downhill, off the tee. Remember, I hit off the tee. I generally hit a 101, 102. So I'm going to be adding yardage already. So we're looking at like a 183, 182, 181, 180-ish. But the wind is in our face. So it brings it probably close back to 193. Not quite. So I'm going to loft it a bit. Anywhere on the green is pretty good in front of the hole. A lot of flat surfaces. The more right you are, the more it's going to be breaking, but there's a chance that it bounces to the left. So you have a couple of options here. You can aim closer to pin high because the slope behind the hole and be okay. Left and behind might be safe. If you land right here, it'll go here and then come back down. It might be in a really good spot, but landing it short is perfectly fine too. Still a little fast, and that's a very common fast for me. Now, did we get too high, or did I just show exactly what I was just talking about, where it funnels to the right? Now, it was a little too far to the left, but as you can see, if you hit in that general vicinity, it does feed back towards the hole. And so, although I'm not excited about this putt, at least it's a putt. At least we gave it a chance. And it just stays up. I knew it was going to stop breaking, which is why I thought about going back a little bit to the right, but I'll take it. I messed that up a little bit with the fast. Trying to slow down my tempo, but it's tough. All right, this is one of those holes. One of those holes where you think, oh, I can reach there. Oh, I can reach there. Yeah. And if you have a better wind, maybe you can. But be careful. It's barely downhill. You need a little bit of helping wind at your back. You probably need to put loft and spin or overpower. It's a tough one to go for because if you end up in the bunker, it's significantly uphill. Because as we can see, it's down 16 where our marker is right now, but it's down 3 feet. So down here, it's going to be a back uphill shot. You could see it from here. If you're in those bunker, they are very, very steep. And if you end up plugged on the lip, good luck, because look at this pin location. Middle of the green, so it's not like an absolute front pin location. A lot of flat surface, but it's going to roll out a little bit. So I'm going to choose to lay up here and leave myself a flop or a pitch. You can even lay up further if you want like a more full shot. You can aim for the right because aiming for the right will give you a good number in. I'm actually going to try that. I'm going to show a different approach to this hole. So 94, I'm pretty happy with that number. Let's see if it's good. Just slow. Looks good. Perfect. That's the thing, like if you play for your numbers, good things happen. Don't just send it willy-nilly. If you're comfortable with your flops or chips or your slashes, you can go for that. But in this scenario, I chose not to. Alright, pretty significantly downhill, so you're going to need to take away distance. It's probably playing around 110, 111. Slight wind in the face, maybe like 112. So we're going to loft this a little bit. If you hit this slope, it should roll out unless you hit a really bad slow. in which case it might have too much spin and just stop up here or something. But it funnels left to right, so aim a little right of the hole. Just like this. Look at this shot. Beautiful. A lot of loft, and coming from a downhill, the ball's going to check up unless you hit a really bad miss tempo. All right, par 5, it is on the longer side. You really want to hit the fairway here, but it's not the most easy because, as you can see, it wants to camber right to left. So if you're too far left and you hit kind of this middle part of the fairway, it's probably going to kick into the rough, and worst case scenario, it might even get to the water. Be careful about adding distance. There should be enough rough run out that you won't run into that unless there's like 12-mile-per-hour winds at your back, but it's still something you should keep in mind. Still too fast. Well, you're about to see what happens if you hit this middle of the fairway. It funnels really hard to left, so if these weren't normal fairways, that might be in the rough. Be careful. Alright, we're going to loft this a bit. We have a good lie at our feet. Downhill as well, wind at our back. It's going to still want to carry a decent amount of yardage, so... Surprised that was that slow, but it should still be good. You're in the right area at least. You're on the green. You have a chance to putt. Not the best. We missed the little slope, but just barely, as you can see. It's not that far off. We just missed tempo a little too far. I hit that a little hard. Gonna hope it hits the hole. No. Missed that by like 2 or 3%. But we get our birdie. And that's an easy birdie hole as long as you're not in the rough or in the water. Even those sand bunkers are pretty tough. Sand bunkers. I feel like I'm being very repetitive. Right, downhill. You can lay up and be fine. Like, you're still gonna have wedge in or 9-iron in if you have shorter clubs like me. I'm gonna lay up. I don't want to challenge the rough and the bunkers in the middle, because you're gonna get distance from the elevation. So if you want to risk it, you can risk it, but look at the fairway a little bit before you do to determine where you want to aim, because it wants to kick you in various different directions. As we can see, perfect distance for me. I just need to manipulate my pitching wedge just slightly. Perfect. That's the benefit of playing to your numbers. Alright. Par 5 to end it. Kicks left to right. Do not hit this part. It's going to be in the bunker of sand. But rough, it might stay up, so do be careful about aiming too far over. That felt fast. Oh, just barely. It was a good swing. Into the fairway. And now, this is a tough green. So everything wants to funnel left to right. And most of your shots are going to be off the green if you don't plan this out properly. Because of the slope at your feet, depending on which type of shank you have and stuff like that, this is a bit of a tough shot. It's uphill. It's going to roll out a decent amount. Unless you hit a certain spot in the green, like right here. It's tough. In my scenario, I kind of need to play a club up because of how much distance this is uphill. And I'm still not fully comfortable with it. I need to lose some distance. So in this scenario, I would be looking at, like, it wants to land, like, right around here if I took my 3-wood. That's a little too far because 3-wood has much lower trajectory In this scenario, it's a longer club. It just has less, it has more rollout. We're on, you know, fairly quick greens. They're 155 on the dot. You know, I need to shape this a little bit more. So I'm going to put some draw into this to counter some of this lie, because everything wants to kick left to right. I'm going to use that to my advantage and see if I just shaped it just enough. Ah, just miss. So I needed to aim a little more left and take just a little bit more off. But I was right. It was going to land pretty far. All right, we're up on a big incline. Keep that in mind when you're taking this chip. You're going to need to add distance. It's going to take off a couple yards. So we're looking already at aiming or landing right around here. If I just played it this. Keep that in mind. You're uphill and incline at your feet. You have to keep all those factors in mind. It landed basically where I said it was going to land, around that 16 yard mark. And you could take a birdie. That one won't be the easiest birdie. You obviously want to get a birdie on every par 5, but that one isn't the easiest, so no shame if you don't, but try to learn from my example there, in which make sure you get enough distance on your short game, because if you have an incline at your feet and you're going up the hill, you're losing a decent amount of distance. That uphill plays 1 to 2 yards, and that incline at my feet might play a yard or 2. So especially if you add spin, the more spin you add, the more the lie at your feet will play. So keep that in mind when you're making your short game judgment calls. You need to take into consideration your typical tempo, whether you fast it often or slow it often, or you get close to the perfect. Those will help determine like what kind of distance you play for, what kind of power you play for. But anyways, that has been Old Castle Prairie by JickinWings. Very fun, good course designed on 2K23. I think it has really good planting. The fairways are not gimme fairways. You have to think a little bit. It's not the hardest course. It's not the longest course. But it does challenge you in certain places on the greens. Challenge your elevation knowledge a little bit. Challenge your shot shaping abilities at times in the fairway. In some of the par 5s. And overall, it's a fun and unique challenge for you guys in CC. So good luck out there. Have fun. Come by on the Twitch. We stream most days, on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then sometimes I do midweek streams. We have a ton of fun. That's twitch.tv/karacakes. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe here. I'm always open to answering questions. It might take me a couple days before I get to them, but I do eventually get to them. I'm hoping to get the chipping tutorial out Monday, because we have Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I'll be able to spend some time Sunday into Monday working on that. It's basically written up, and I've got all the clips sorted, but I do need to actually put it all together finally. I need to make the audio clips now. So there you have it, folks. I hope to see you soon here or on Twitch. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of things to do this weekend with match play scenarios. I'm hoping I can get into the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals of the Progressive Golf Open, and we'll see how the Bees Knees Invitational plays out over the next month. But until next time, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Mean it. You are all wonderful, and good luck in your CC rounds this week. Ta-ta.